"Do you hear that, Myra?" the human whispered. The princess froze, her hand brushing the cold stone wall. "Yes, it's getting closer." A soft metallic tremor hummed through the corridor, too steady to be wind, too purposeful to be harmless. Myra's breath caught, her pulse rising. Whatever stalked them in the dark tunnels beneath the crystal citadel was not supposed to wake for another season. Yet here it was, awake early. And hunting. Myra, a sheltered princess, whose quiet strength has never been recognized. A human envoy known for his fearless honesty and gentle loyalty. King Myra's father, strong-willed and protective, but blind to his daughter's potential. The torch in his hand flickered, throwing gold over Myra's silver-threaded dress. She swallowed hard, her voice trembling, but not with fear, something deeper, something waiting. The king had always said Myra was delicate, too fragile for royal pressures, too soft-hearted to carry a blade or make a demand, but saw something different from the first moment he met her. Eyes that watched everything, hands that trembled only because they were never allowed to hold power. The tunnels shook again. A groan of ancient gears. A scrape like claws on crystal. Something had been awakened beneath the kingdom. Myra looked up, at her eyes wide, but not pleading, expectant. "Why today? Why now?" she asked, barely above a whisper. He shook his head. "I don't know, but your father was wrong to send you somewhere safe without even checking what sleeps down here." Safe? That was the lie the king always wrapped her in, heavy as armor, suffocating as chains. The air chilled, carrying the faint scent of rust and forgotten storms. Myra took a step back, her hand lightly brushing his arm. The contact steadied her pulse. She didn't know why, but whenever he was near, her fear sharpened into something almost electric, something that felt like resolve. They reached the end of the hall, where a wide chamber opened in darkness. The crystal pillars standing along the walls glowed faintly, reacting to movement, reacting to them. Myra's breath fogged as she exhaled. "We shouldn't be here," she murmured. "But we are," answered. "And if whatever this is reaches the main citadel—" His sentence died, but the meaning settled heavily between them. A kingdom at risk. A threat waking from the deep. And only two people here to face it. Myra stepped deeper into the chamber. She didn't shake as she touched the nearest pillar. "My father always believed I couldn't protect myself," she said, her voice low and steady. "But he never asked what I wanted." Lifted the torch higher. "What do you want, Myra?" The princess closed her eyes, to stop running. A sound thundered through the chamber, like a heart made of stone slamming against the earth. The glowing pillars dimmed, then flared violently. A gust of hot air blew past them, swirling dust into their eyes. Something huge was waking. Myra stumbled but caught her waist before she fell. The moment was brief, barely more than a breath, yet her cheeks flushed as if something inside her had ignited too. Then the ground quaked again, and something vast moved in the shadows. Their time was slipping away. Grabbed her hand. "Myra, we need to decide, run back or face whatever is coming." Her fingers tightened around his. Surprisingly strong. Surprisingly certain. "We face it," she said. Another tremor. Another metallic groan. The darkness ahead shifted, like an ancient guardian pulling itself free from centuries of stillness. Looked at her, stunned for a moment by the fire in her eyes. "Your father underestimated you," he murmured. "But I knew it. I knew you had a warrior's heart." Myra exhaled softly, fear and courage mixing in her gaze. "Then stand with me." The chamber lights flared to blinding white as the creature emerged. And for the first time in her life, Myra did not step back. "Keep your stance, Myra. Don't look away." His voice was steady, even as the cavern roared with the awakening of the massive shape before them. But Myra did not flinch. The light from the crystal pillars pulsed like a heartbeat, revealing fragments of the creature, plates of stone fused with living metal, eyes burning with molten gold, limbs shaped like the remains of ancient machines. It was neither beast nor construct. It was older than the citadel itself. And it was staring right at her. A low hum rolled across the chamber, vibrating through Myra's bones. She took a slow breath to steady herself, her pulse quickening not from fear but recognition. Something about this creature felt connected to the kingdom's oldest legends, stories her father dismissed as myths, stories she secretly read under candlelight when she was supposed to rest. Stepped forward, shielding her slightly. "It's judging us," he murmured, "or warning us." The creature moved, each step echoing like thunder. Dust rained from the ceiling. A gust of heated air swept toward them, but Myra didn't retreat. Instead, she took a careful step forward. Myra reached for her, but she lifted a hand, stopping him. "Let me try," she whispered. Her voice carried through the chamber, gentle yet strangely resonant, like the walls themselves were listening. The creature lowered its head, the golden glow of its eyes intensifying. Myra swallowed. "You woke too soon," she said softly. "Why, what forced you awake?" The creature's gaze shifted slightly, then toward the far wall behind them. The stones trembled again. Something else was moving. Stiffened, Myra, "We're not alone here." A chill sliced through the heated air, unnaturally cold. Myra turned slowly. From the dark entrance they had come through, shadows seeped onto the floor like ink, slithering, merging, thickening. Then a whisper, thin, sharp, wrong, cut through the chamber. "You should not have come." Grabbed Myra's wrist and pulled her back, placing himself between her and the spreading shadows. "Show yourself," he demanded. A shape unfurled from the darkness, a figure of robed silhouettes, shifting like smoke, face hidden beneath a hood etched with runes Myra had never seen. The voice echoed as if spoken by more than one mouth. "The king's daughter walks in places forbidden," the figure hissed, "and the human dares stand beside her." Myra's throat tightened. "Who are you?" The figure tilted its head. "We are what your father feared, what he sealed away when he claimed the throne he was not meant to hold." Glanced at her. "Myra, he never told you anything about this." She shook her head, chest tightening. "No, he said the tunnels were unstable, nothing more." The shadowed figure chuckled, an icy, hollow sound, a half-truth like all his words. The stone creature let out a deep growl, not at Myra, but at the figure. Its stance shifted as if preparing to protect them. His hand tightened around Myra's. "Whatever this thing is, it's hostile." The figure's cloak rippled as if caught in a violent wind. "The guardian awakens before its time. That means only one thing, the is failing." Myra's breath stopped. The crystal that kept the kingdom thriving, the source of all its warmth and light, without it. No, she couldn't even finish the thought. The figure extended a long, shadowed hand toward her. "Princess, step forward. You carry what your father never understood." Pulled her back sharply. "She's not going anywhere." The shadows swirled violently, filling the cavern with cold. The guardian roared, shaking the foundations of the chamber. The figure's voice sharpened. "Time is ending, the cracks even now. If it shatters, your kingdom will fall tonight." Myra felt her heart squeeze. Her people, her home, her father, even with all his flaws. She stepped forward despite its grip. "Tell me what I must do." "Myra." "I can't let them die," she whispered. The figure extended its hand again. "Then come. There is a truth buried beneath your crown." The guardian moved protectively between Myra and the shadow, but not to stop her, to shield her. Looked at her, fear and awe mixing in his eyes. "Myra, you're choosing this." She nodded once. "If I don't, no one will." And in that moment, her destiny shifted. "Myra, wait, please think." His voice trembled for the first time since they entered the tunnels. But Myra did not stop. The guardian's molten eyes followed her as she approached it, neither threatening nor welcoming, only observing. The shadowed figure drifted backward, its form wavering like smoke in a storm, as if retreating deeper into the massive chamber, expecting her to follow. Stepped beside her, breath unsteady. "If you go with that thing, I'm going too." "You don't have to," she whispered. "Yes," he said firmly, "I do." A quiet warmth rose through her chest. When everyone else doubted her, even her own father, stood close enough for her to hear his heartbeat. The shadow figure halted near a towering stone archway etched with ancient symbols. They glowed faintly as the figure raised its hand. You fear me, the figure murmured, yet you come. I fear losing my people more, Myra replied. The guardian rumbled approvingly behind her, shifting its massive weight as if preparing to follow. The ground vibrated beneath their feet. The shadow's voice slithered through the air. Brave, but bravery without truth is merely a flame waiting to be blown out. A sharp crack echoed above them. His eyes shot upward, the ceiling Myra move. She grabbed his arm and pulled him forward as a chunk of crystal stone shattered behind them, bursting into shards. The guardian shielded itself with an iron-plated limb, then roared, not in panic, but in anger. Myra glanced at it, it's weakening too. This decline affects all born of its power, the shadow said. Even the guardian cannot endure much longer. Myra's breath shuddered, then we don't have time. The figure turned toward the archway. Beyond this door lies the truth your father hid. Follow, and you will see why the bleeds. Muttered under his breath, truth never comes easy, does it? They stepped through. The air changed instantly, cooler, quieter, carrying a faint echo of wind. The path beyond the archway descended into a vast chasm lit only by the glow of roots that pulsed like veins. The walls hummed, whispering vibrations through Myra's fingertips as she brushed them. What is this place? She breathed. The cradle of your kingdom, the figure answered, and the prison of a promise broken. Kept Myra close as they walked, eyes scanning every shadow. Your father never said anything about this. My father never believed I could handle anything real, Myra said softly. She didn't intend to let hurt seep through her voice, but it did, and hurt it. Myra, he should have trusted you. She gave a small, fragile nod. Maybe it's time someone did. The corridor widened, revealing a cavern so massive it swallowed sound. At its center floated a colossal crystal heart, cracked and flickering with dim light. It pulsed weakly, once bright enough to illuminate the kingdom for miles, now barely glowing. Myra gasped, though. A long fracture ran from its core, dripping sparks like falling petals of dying light. Tightened his grip on her hand. If that breaks completely, the kingdom dies, the shadow finished, as it nearly did long before you were born. Myra stepped toward what caused this? Why is it failing? The shadow hovered closer. Because your father did what no king before him dared. He severed the bond between thee and its rightful heir. She froze, rightful heir. His jaw clenched, tell us. The cavern lights dimmed as the shadow's voice deepened. The chooses a spirit strong enough to share its pulse, a royal bloodline's gift, but your father feared the cost. He refused the bond and the kingdom has decayed ever since. Myra's fingers trembled, cost what cost. The shadow lifted its hood, revealing nothing but swirling darkness. This chosen must bear its power, must carry its echoes, must share their soul with the light. Her breath hitched. You mean someone has to merge with it? Yes, the figure whispered, and the has already chosen. The guardian rumbled from behind them, its molten eyes fixed on Myra. Stepped in front of her instinctively. No, she's not sacrificing herself. She is not the sacrifice, the shadow replied. She is the key. Myra's heartbeat pounded. If I'm the key, then show me how to save my kingdom. The flickered once, almost like it was listening. And the shadow extended a hand. Come, princess, it is time to learn what you were meant to be. Myra, don't go any closer yet. His hand hovered near her back, as if one more step would pull her away forever. But the pulsed again, soft, weak, but unmistakably calling. The shadowed figure floated beside it, robes twisting like mist caught in an unseen wind. Your heartbeat answers it. Do you feel it? Myra swallowed, her hand drifting toward her own chest. She did feel it, a gentle tug beneath her ribs, like a forgotten memory waking. I don't understand, she whispered. Why me? Because you were born with what your father feared most, the figure replied. A spirit he could not control. Step between her and his jaw tight. You're manipulating her. The shadow tilted its head. If truth manipulates, then let it. The guardian lumbered into the chamber, each step shaking dust from the high cavern ceiling. Its molten eyes glowed brighter when it saw Myra standing before the crackling crystal heart. It bowed, massive stone body lowering with surprising grace. Myra stared stunned. It bows to me. It recognizes the bond, the shadow said. His pulse quickened. Bond or not, there has to be another way, something that doesn't tear her apart. Her, the figure echoed, amused. She is not a vessel to be torn, she is a bridge. Myra touched his arm gently. Let me listen. He looked at her, really looked. There was terror in his eyes, but respect too. Myra, I don't want to lose you. A spark of warmth flickered inside her, cutting through the cold cavern air. You won't. He wasn't convinced. She could feel it in the way his breath hitched. The shadow drifted closer. Your father refused the bond, fearing the price. He let the wither, but you were born for this moment. Myra's gaze lifted to the enormous, cracked crystal. It pulsed faintly, like an injured creature, trembling in its struggle to survive. What happens if I connect with it? She asked softly. Your spirit will steady its pulse, the figure replied. Your strength will mend its fracture, and its light will become yours. Stiffened, that sounds like exactly the kind of thing someone might not survive. The shadow's silence was telling. Myra drew a slow breath. If I don't try, everyone dies. Grabbed her hands, and if you try, you might. She shook her head, squeezing his fingers. Not might, I feel it. I'm meant to do this. Myra. I'm not the frightened child my father sheltered. Her voice wavered with emotion but held steady with resolve. You saw something in me before anyone else did. Let me prove you were right. His breath shuddered. He didn't release her hands. I believe in you, that's why I'm terrified. The guardian rumbled, stepping closer. Its presence was warm, protective. The pulsed, brighter this time, illuminating Myra's face in soft, shimmering light. The crack running through it sparked like lightning. It's failing, she whispered. It doesn't have long. Then step forward, the shadow said. Let the recognize its air. Myra moved. One step. Then another. The air tightened around her, vibrating faintly like a distant choir humming. Followed a half step behind, unwilling to let her walk into danger alone, even if he couldn't stop her. Myra raised her hand. The light from the flickered as if leaning toward her. A soft hum pressed against her skin. When her fingertips met the glowing surface, a surge of warmth rushed through her, neither painful nor frightening. It felt like recognition. Like someone whispering, finally. Her eyes widened, lips parting in shock. It's connected to me. The stone's cracks glowed brighter, the entire cavern trembling as the bond awakened. But then, a violent tremor split the ground. The shadowed figure hissed. The guardian roared. A second fracture tore across the yanked Myra back. It's collapsing. No, it's reacting, Myra cried, reaching again. The cavern shook harder, the glowing veins along the walls pulsing in chaotic rhythm. Myra shouted over the roar, tell me what you need. She turned to him, eyes blazing, not with fear but with fierce clarity. Stay with me, no matter what happens. Tightened his grip around her hand. Always. Myra raised her other hand toward and the light swallowed the chamber. Don't let go. Myra's voice trembled as the blinding light wrapped around them like a living storm. I won't, he said, gripping her hand. The cavern shuddered. Cracks of pure white light split across the pulsing with frantic energy. The air grew impossibly warm, like standing inside a rising sun. The guardian roared, bracing itself as the floor splintered beneath its heavy limbs. The shadowed figure hovered back, robes whipping violently from the energy surge. Thee is forcing the bond, it has waited too long. Myra felt her feet lifting off the ground, light pulling her upward. Her breath caught as glowing strands wrapped around her wrists, her shoulders, her chest, threading into her like delicate ribbons of fire. Held on with everything in him. Myra, look at me. She did. Her eyes shone with shimmering light, as if stars were awakening inside them. I feel it, she whispered. Every heartbeat of the kingdom, every fear, every hope. The pulsed again, harder this time. The force nearly tore his hand from hers. "Don't you dare let go," she cried. "But tell me what's happening." "It's choosing," Myra breathed. "It's trying to merge, but it's too fractured. It's—" A violent shockwave hurled backward. He slammed against the stone floor, pain ripping through his ribs. He gasped, but forced himself to crawl back toward her. Myra floated higher, the light intensifying until she was almost fully encased. The shadowed figure whispered sharply, "She cannot withstand this alone. Pull her back or she will burn." Pushed himself to his feet despite the agony. "Then help her." "I cannot," the shadow said. "Only one may share this pulse. If I intervene, its fury will break what remains of it." The guardian roared again, this time in distress. Myra's voice echoed, layered with this hum. "I can feel it falling apart. I have to stabilize it." "How? Just tell me how." She shook her head, tears shimmering in the glowing light. "My father was supposed to do this, but he refused for me. He thought the bond would break him." "And will it break you?" asked fear raw in his voice. Myra looked down at him, her expression soft despite the storm burning around her. "Not if I'm anchored." He didn't understand. "Anchored, Myra, what do you—" "You—" Her voice rang through the chamber. "You're the anchor." "Froze me. I'm not royal. I don't have magic. I'm not." "You're the one who sees me," she whispered. "The responds to truth, and you've given me more strength than any crown ever did." The light flared violently. The fractures deepened. His heart pounded. "Then tell me what to do." "Hold on to me," she said, "no matter what." He didn't hesitate. He leaped into the roaring light and grabbed her with both arms. The force hit him like a storm, but he held on, teeth clenched, refusing to let the bond rip her away. Myra gasped as this energy slammed through them both. A surge of warmth radiated outward, spiraling around their joined hands. The shadowed figure hissed, "Impossible, the human is stabilizing her." Shouted through the noise, "Myra, stay with me." Her forehead pressed against his. "I'm trying." A sudden calm settled around them. His frantic pulses slowed, steadied, matched the rhythm of Myra's breathing. Then matched. The light wrapped around both of them, interlacing, merging, braiding their pulses into one synchronized beat. The guardian bowed deeply, its molten eyes glowing with new warmth. The cracked once more, not in destruction but release. The shattering glow dissolved into hundreds of floating shards that swirled around Myra and settling gently into their joined hands. Myra gasped, collapsing forward into his arms as the last of the light faded. He caught her, holding her tightly against his chest. "Myra, Myra, stay with me, please." Her eyes fluttered open, still glowing faintly, but her smile was soft, alive. "I'm here." The shadowed figure bowed low, voice trembling. "The bond has chosen not one but two." Myra leaned against, exhausted but radiant. "We saved it." Pressed his forehead to hers. "You saved all of us." Above them the pulsed with renewed light, reborn bright, unbroken. But the cavern was not done shifting. From deep within the earth, something else awakened. Something moving beneath us. Myra's voice, still faintly glowing with this echo, trembled against his chest. Tightened his hold on her and shifted his stance as the ground rumbled again, slow, heavy, deliberate. The newly restored light of the glowed bright above them, illuminating the cavern in soft gold, but the warmth it cast did nothing to calm the cold rising beneath their feet. The guardian lumbered forward, planting itself between them and the growing tremor. Its molten eyes blazed with warning. The shadowed figure stiffened, its smoky form flickering. This should not be happening. Nothing else was meant to wake. "Grimaced, you said there was the only problem." "I said it was the greatest," the figure hissed. The tremor deepened, splitting the earth with a slow, echoing crack. Dust spilled from the ceiling in thin streams. Myra forced herself to stand, leaning on for balance at first, then pulling away to steady herself. Her glow dimmed slightly as her strength returned, but her presence still radiated with new power, quiet, bright, anchored. Myra whispered, "Are you sure you're all right?" She nodded. "The bond settled. It's part of me now, part of us." Her fingers brushed his, a spark of shared warmth flaring between them. But the moment shattered as the cavern floor split open with a deafening roar. From the chasm, a surge of cold air blasted upward, so cold it extinguished the warmth of this glow for an instant. The guardian staggered back, stone plates grinding. Myra's breath hitched. What is that? The shadowed figure retreated several feet, robes twisting like frightened smoke. The other half of the heart. Blinked the what? When your father refused the bond, the figure said, voice shaking. The cracked. The light separated from the dark, and the dark grew hungry. A low, guttural moan rolled out of the chasm. Myra tensed, her fingers curling involuntarily. Moved in front of her. You're telling me an evil version of that giant crystal has been sitting under the kingdom all this time? Yes, the shadow whispered, starved, furious, and now awakened by your light. A claw long, jagged, glimmering with obsidian shards, emerged from the chasm's edge. Myra staggered back. No. Another claw rose beside it. Then a head, shaped like the Guardian's but darker, broken, fractured, burning with icy blue fire. Its body was made of shattered crystal held together by pulsating shadows. Where the restored Guardian radiated warmth, this one exhaled frost. The corrupted Guardian let out a cry that shook the cavern, a sound filled with rage and hunger. The restored Guardian roared back, stepping forward protectively in front of Myra, and the two titans stared each other down, the air between them crackling with ancient tension. Swallowed hard, so two guardians. One of light, the shadow whispered, and one of everything the lost. The corrupted guardian slammed its claws into the ground, sending spirals of frozen energy racing across the cavern floor. Pulled Myra back just in time as ice erupted where they had been standing. Myra steadied her breath, her eyes narrowing with a resolve had never seen burned so fiercely. It's coming for the. Glanced at her, and for you. She didn't deny it. The corrupted guardian lunged. The restored guardian intercepted, the clash sending out a shockwave that threw Myra and across the floor. Twisted mid-fall, wrapping Myra in his arms to shield her as they slid against the stone. The shadowed figure's voice echoed from above. Princess, you wield this light now, only you can stop its dark reflection. Myra pushed herself up, gasping, how? Opposites clash, the figure answered, but reflections cancel. Frowned, that doesn't explain anything. Myra stood slowly, her palms glowing with soft gold. It means I have to face it. Grabbed her arm, you can't go near that thing. I must, she whispered, eyes burning with determination. The light awakened it, now the light must calm it. The guardians collided again, sending sparks and shards raining down. Stepped closer to Myra, refusing to leave her side. I said I'm not letting you do this alone. She turned to him, her expression both frightened and fiercely grateful. Then stay close. Another roar shook the cavern. The corrupted guardian turned its glowing blue eyes toward them. And it charged. Myra, get behind me, shouted, though he knew it was pointless. The corrupted guardian barreled toward them with a force that made the very air shatter. Ice spiraled across the cavern floor, freezing stone and crystal alike. The restored guardian leapt forward to intercept, but the dark reflection struck it aside with a roar that shook the walls. Myra felt this echo rise in her chest, warm, fierce, insistent. It's calling me, she whispered. It knows I'm the only one who can stop this. Grabbed her hand. Then we stop it together, remember, the responded to us both. Her breath hitched as the corrupted guardian skidded to a halt only a few yards away, its blue flame eyes locked directly on her. The air around it crackled with shards of frozen light. Its massive chest heaved with every broken inhale, as if longing for the warmth it had been. Its voice, if it could be called a voice, echoed like a fractured scream. Returnthlght. Myra stepped forward, moved with her. Myra, tell me what we're doing, he whispered through clenched teeth. Her fingers tightened around his. I think it wants wholeness, the healed, but its shadow didn't, it's incomplete. So how do we fix it? We give it balance, she said softly, light and anchor. The corrupted guardian lunged again, faster this time. The restored guardian slammed into it mid-charge, the two titans crashing like worlds colliding. Ice and molten sparks flew across the cavern, illuminating Myra and in flickering blue and gold. The shadowed figure raised its voice over the chaos. "Princess, the bond you formed was imperfect, unfinished. You must complete it with its reflection." Shouted, "What does that mean?" But Myra understood. She turned to, eyes bright, fierce, trembling with resolve. "We have to merge the last of this light with the dark half." Stared at her, breath catching. "Myra, if you do that." "We do it," she corrected. "I can't hold both halves without you. You're my anchor." And before he could argue, she grabbed both of his hands and pressed them over her heart. A shock of warmth rippled outward. The cavern pulsed. The above them flared to blinding gold. The corrupted guardian sensed the surge. It roared and tore free from the restored guardian's hold, charging straight toward Myra and braced himself. "Myra, whatever happens." "Stay with me," she whispered. She raised her hand. Light burst from her palm, golden, fierce, unstoppable. The corrupted guardian collided with the wave of brilliance, its dark form shaking violently as the energy wrapped around it. It screamed, not in pain but in longing. Myra stepped forward, pulling with her. The light pouring from her chest grew brighter, merging with the shadow of the dark guardian, wrapping around its broken crystal limbs. Felt this pulse sync with his own, a deep, steady rhythm that felt like the entire kingdom breathing. Myra's voice echoed, layered with light. "Let the halves be whole again." The corrupted guardian froze, its blue flames flickering wildly. Myra reached out, guided her hand. Together they placed their palms on the creature's fractured chest. A burst of light exploded outward. Gold met blue. Warmth met frost. Light met shadow. The cavern shook, the above flared brighter than the sun. And then silence. When the light faded, Myra and stood trembling, hands still joined. The corrupted guardian knelt before them, no longer broken, its body now a perfect blend of gold and blue crystal, steady and whole. The restored guardian bowed beside it, two halves reunited. The shadowed figure lowered its hood at last, a face of shimmering starlight revealed. "The kingdom is healed, because you trusted each other more than fear." Turned to Myra. She was exhausted, glowing softly, leaning into him. "You did it," he whispered. She smiled weakly. "We did it." Above them the glowed with gentle warmth, its pulse steady, strong, alive. And for the first time in centuries, the kingdom's light shone whole.